Right, well here I am then, back on your screens, and I've come up to Linear Fisheries. I'm on Manor. Now, fish are creatures of habit, and this time last year I fished on Manor with my old mate Scotty Lloyd, and I had a good trip. I reckon I've had the rods out 20 minutes, and I've already had the first one, probably 18 to 20 pound on a zig. Job's a good one. Hopefully we're in for a few more. Lovely times. I said I didn't think it was going to be long until the next one, and yeah, it does seem to be at the minute that it is a case of history repeating itself. Like I said before, this time last year, so what we're on now, the 3rd week of February, I fished on Manor and I caught quite a few fish. Like I say, these fish, they don't really change much year in, year out. The only thing that sort of changes at what part of the year they wake up on is whether or not we've had a big sort of a freeze up or a warm spell, and thankfully we have just had a bit of a warm spell. And while we're on the subject of weather and patterns and stuff, over and above the weather, I think the one thing that does make a massive difference to fish is the extra hours of daylight. But yeah, we have got another one again on a zig. We're tram lining them. I don't know if you can see them lines. Where are they? Got 2 out in the zone, 1 just off the side of it, and this one is a bit better and he's a little bit more scaly. So this one appeals to all the keep it reelers, the scaly banger, so to speak. You know, the type of fish where, and I don't know if you found this as well, people that are watching this, it seems to me that when people catch a fish that's scaly or that it's old, all of a sudden it looks like their back's in pieces and they feel they have to place their arm along the bottom of the carp to make it look more extreme in the world of carpiness. But yeah, it is a bizarre thing now. You know, it's quite a good talking point actually. I don't know if you noticed, but when people catch a carp that they feel is very, very creditable, they seem to hold it in a different style. Very bizarre, but there we go. We live and learn. There you are though. Another Manor Farm fish. This one probably 25 to 28 pound. Right, little bobbins are rammed up tight. We'll grab him out, have a little goose. The session is still young, only 2 hours old. Plenty of cherry coke in the bag. Hopefully we're going to be consuming a few bottles of that as and when we get a unit. And yeah, if nothing else happens, it's already been a great start, which means it's a which means that it's lovely times. Le barge. Here we go then. Bites number 2, carp number 2. Look at this one. Hopefully it doesn't give it a chief Wigan. I'm not going to weigh it. I reckon he's about 25 to 27. Let me know what you think. Get in position. There we go. Look at that one then. That is a scaly banger, as they say. Have a little goose to the other side, shall we? So it's nice. Right, there we go, there's the other side. I reckon, yeah, 25, 27 pounds, something like that. But it's my second fish of the day, and we've still got 3 nights left. Perfect. Right, a little evening update. I've had another one. It was a small one, about 16 to 18 pound. I had it just on dark, and well, I say just on dark, I didn't. I had it about an hour before it got dark, but I was just in the process. Yeah, it's a mess. Well, yeah, I was just in the process of changing the rods over from zigs to the bottom. Now, that fish was on a zig. It caught my other 2 rods, which were still on zigs. It was a bit of a mare, but I got it in. About 16 to 18 pound common. Yeah, so one mustn't complain. Another nice fish. Now I have taken the zigs off and I've gone down onto the bottom tonight. I've made a tactical change. Now for the last 3 years, 4 years, I can count on probably one hand how many zigs I've chucked out on a linear water, or on any water in fact, because I have this theory that if you're going to catch a big carp, you're going to catch one on the bottom. They're big because they eat, the same as me. I'm big because I eat. I wouldn't be this size if I was a vegan, would I? And I only swim around eating bits of foam or little bits of leaf or grass or whatever like that. So my theory is that by fishing on the bottom, you'll have a better chance of catching a bigger fish. Now this is proven right because I've had over 20 40s now off the Linear complex since I refused to put zigs out. But I have put them out today purely and simply because I caught a few fish on Manor last year with them. And I just wanted to get, but I've not been back on Manor. I tell you, I've done one session in September, one overnight session in September. So I've not been on there for probably the best part of a year. So I wanted to make sure, not that I needed any sort of reassurance I could get a bite, so to speak, but I just wanted to put them out to try and get a couple of bites. I've achieved that, and then just before it got dark, I managed to get 3 rods bang on to a little area that I found. Well, I say an area, I just clipped up to 100 yards. And yeah, and then I put out probably about half a kilo, 3/4 of a kilo of boilies that I'd had soaking that I've mulched up, 4 cans of sweet corn and 4 cans of hemp, and the spomming went very, very well. A lot better than when I fished the other week, and I was a little bit rusty, but then that is what I get for having a couple of trips on Farlows where I have been fortunate enough to be able to use a bait boat. But yeah, the rods are out, 3 on the spot, just had myself some dinner, and I'm now laying in bed. It is about 8 o'clock now, I suppose it is, and gonna have a little listen for an hour or two, see if I can hear any fish. But as confidence goes, I am very confident. Burp, got a little bit sick up there as well. Yeah, so I'm very confident. Hopefully something happens through the night, and if it doesn't happen tonight, it might happen tomorrow, and if nothing happens by lunchtime tomorrow, I'm gonna go and have a little look, and I might have a little move. So yeah, hopefully I'll be back before tomorrow when I move with another carp. Good night. In exactly the same position as when I put them out last night. Not a single beep, nothing at all. I think the gamble of going onto the bottom clearly, obviously, hasn't paid off. Should I have kept zigs out, I probably would have had another bite, maybe a couple of bites. I did hear them out here last night, probably about 12 or 15 fish in the period that I was awake between sort of 10:30 and midnight, so they were definitely still in the area. But like I said before, fishing down on the deck, you've got a chance of catching a big one or a bigger one, and in Manor there's a lot of big fish, so sort of sacrificing the zigs to go onto the bottom, granted, hasn't paid off, but there was always a chance of catching a bigger fish. If I would have kept zigs out, would I have caught? Possibly, who knows. I've already caught 3 with zigs, may have caught a couple more with zigs last night, but I think being woken up in the middle of the night for a smaller one, or the chance of a smaller one, should we say, would have been far less appealing than if one of those had have ripped up off the bottom. But yeah, now the one thing that you can't account for when you fish a busy place is who goes next door, and the guy next door is up and he's spomming already. This is probably prime bite time, certainly for this time of year, for getting a bite off the deck. So yeah, it was relentless casting yesterday, probably 4 or 5 hours to get the rods out, which was a nightmare for him. And he's up this morning at 7:30 and he's putting bait out already. So I think today I'm either going to move swims on this particular lake, or I'm going to move and go and fish on another lake. I've got a couple more nights left. You know, I don't want to sit here and waste my time. And that's the good thing with Linear, is with there being a number of lakes here, 7 lakes, you can just chop and change, and if it's not happening on one, or you're not happy where you are, you can always just make a move and go elsewhere. So I'm going to sit it out probably until about 9ish, maybe 10 o'clock, something like that, and if nothing happens or I don't see any more show in this area, I'm going to have a look obviously over the rest of the lake whilst I'm still set up on here. I'm going to crank the rods in, go for a drive with a bucket, and see if I can find myself another swim. But yeah, a motionless night, but in 24 hours we've still had 3 bites. That'll do for me. There goes the spom out there now. Look. Why would you do that at 7:30 in the morning? Come on, have some consideration, please. There we go, motionless rods. Time for a coffee. I'm gonna have a couple of crumpets. Life is okay. It could have been a lot better if we'd have had a bite or 2, but you never know. It's not over until it's over. Well, we've got a rod missing because I've just had another one off the bottom as well. I was just sitting here. Well, I wasn't, I was laying here actually, I was being rather lazy, and looking out, and I'd seen a couple of fish show. Sort of, where's the, oh, I can't really see through it. There's a cormorant out there somewhere. Well, there was. He might have just taken off. So I'm basically fishing in line with where that tallest bit of tree is there, out in the middle. And I'd seen a couple of fish there, sort of just where the birds are behind, which are about 20 yards behind me. And yeah, literally look round, have a little look at the rods to make sure that they are still there and haven't been stolen, and I'm not just doing having a camping trip. And yeah, one of them, well, the middle one, pulled up to the top, trundled off nicely, and I've got myself, well, it actually looks like the common that I caught yesterday evening on a zig, but it isn't. But I've got a common, probably about 18 pound, a long, lean common. But nonetheless, it is another carp from Manor, and off the bottom as well. But my theory of you'll get a better chance of catching a big one off the bottom clearly hasn't been proven. But I've only had the one bite off the deck, so who knows what the next one could be. Lovely times. Location, I am now on a different lake. It just wasn't, well, this is going to sound really mad because obviously I caught out a Manor, but I just wasn't really feeling it. It's hard to explain, but I just wasn't really feeling it. I come for a drive around and I am on my favourite Brasenose 1. Now, the reason why I've come on here is because it has been doing a couple of bites and I've managed to get in a pretty decent swim. I'm in peg 9 and like I said, I just want to put some bait out and try and get something going, you know, regular bites. That's the type of fishing I absolutely love. It's not that I've come off Manor because I'm struggling, because I'm not. I caught a few fish out there, but it's so hard for me to explain. Like, I just love catching fish. I just love going fishing, and I'll go back to the same places time and time again because it's where I enjoy going. So I've just moved over onto here, just wanged a couple of zigs out. I've changed over to my orange line because I'm going to be fishing at distance. Little bug, there's been a hatch, which is a good sign. Always whenever there's a hatch going off, generally places tend to start waking up and switching on. Yeah, so I just put 2 zigs out to start with, and I'm going to put all 3 of them down on the deck because I believe it's been doing a majority of the bites through the hours of darkness. So yeah, got a little bit of a headache. I haven't had much of a rest today. I've not had anything to eat yet, and I've not had a drink, but I have just got myself out. Have a look here, nice little tipple. So I'm going to sink that, and then I'm going to focus on getting these out. I've already found, I'll say, a spot. This is another thing as well. When people fish on B1, they always say to me, what spot are you fishing? There is no spot. The spot is where you put your bait. The tighter you put the bait, the more accurate you put your bait out, the better your chance of getting bites. If you can't fish 110 yards, fish 100 yards. If you can fish 120 yards, but it's windy and you're struggling, come back to fishing a comfortable range. Always bait and fish exactly where you want to and where it's comfortable for you, because the last thing you want to be doing is slashing bait all over the place, and you're going to hinder your chances rather than helping your chances. So I've gone for a nice comfortable 26 rod lengths. The wind's off my back, it's due to change and blow in my face. A few of the guys that are on here have had a couple of fish, or the guys that was in here before, they had I think 1 or 2 fish over 3 nights that they was here. And again, you know, this is another thing that I say about to people when they say to me, oh, Brasenose 1, it's easy, they crawl up your line. No, they don't. No, they don't crawl up your line. These lakes are pressured. They're probably more pressured in here, these fish, than any other lake in the country. And, whoa, bugging me here, whoa. And whilst, yes, you can get big hits of fish, they don't happen as frequent as what they used to. The fish are wising up. They're big fish now. And yeah, just because it's Brasenose 1, a lot of people seem to be embarrassed. Oh, it's Brasenose, I've got to go there and catch 20 fish. I've done trips on here and caught nothing. I've done trips on here and caught 2 or 3. I've done trips on here and caught 30 or 40 fish. These lakes are all about timing and being able to fish sensibly and comfortably in what conditions you're faced with. And I'm hoping that tonight I can carry on from where I left off when I fished it at the start of the year on my first vlog, and caught a couple and get a couple of bites. If not, I've made a massive balls up and I shouldn't have moved from Manor. But we live and learn. We're just going into the evening now. It's about 4 o'clock. Just going to get the rods clipped up, reel them 2 zigs in, wang a couple out there, put a bit of bait over the top, sink my cherry coke, and watch the evening unfold. Lovely. Right, well I'm not sure what time it is, but it is just getting light, so it's probably, I don't know, never look actually. So it's 6:30, and it was a bit of a quiet start to the night. Didn't have anything up until about 2 hours ago. Then I had a small one, and yeah, in the last sort of half an hour I just had another couple. But the only problem I've got now is the battery on this is going flat, which is a bit of a disaster. So I'm probably going to have to film the next pieces on my iPhone, which I hope will be good enough to use. But yeah, so I've got a bit of a bunged up, I don't know, did anyone else ever wake up just with a bunged up nose for no reason, and then after about 20 minutes it goes? But anyway, I just made myself a coffee. Yeah, it was a quiet start to the night, but it has improved, and the reason I haven't filmed anything yet is because it has only just stopped raining and it has been absolutely slashing it down. So yeah, I haven't filmed anything yet, but rest assured I'm gonna have this coffee excuse me, and yeah, the fish that I've already had haven't been that big, so I've slipped them back, but got the rods back out. Oh god, I've got bloody hiccups now. I'm falling apart, I tell you. Yeah, the ones I haven't been that big, but the rods are back out there, and it's looking good for some more. It's flat calm. I don't really like it when it's flat calm, but they're obviously out there. I heard a couple show early on in the night, but it took a little bit longer to get a bite than what I first anticipated. So yeah, we'll sink a coffee, first one of the day, so to speak, and we shall see if the morning has got anything else in offer. Oh, has got anything else on offer for me. So yeah, I'm gonna have a coffee. That'll probably mean I need to go and have a poo, and hopefully by that time something else might have happened. Let's have a look. Here's this option for us both, I think. Come close if you want to, Russ.
I did zoom in a bit.
Yeah. I never zoom in on an iPhone because
no,
I just
didn't
grabbed it.
Because of the camera, I didn't want to get in the way. Zoom in, can't we?
Right, so it doesn't kick off. This one, 37.2. There we go. How about that? A big old brace-nosed carp. Can't complain with action like this in February. And I think the one I've got in the net as well, I think that's a 30. So yeah, a trio of 30s in an overnighter. Job's a good one. Right, a few photographs, get this one back, and I'll get the third one out. One. £32.12. So yeah, a 32, a 33 and a 37, as well as 3 others. And again, the brace-nose is only full of non-scaly fish. Have a look at this one. Take that any day of the week. Lovely times. Cherry Coke for breakfast. Attenborough-esque here, and just film this bird. I'm not sure what it's called. I'm sure people will let me know in the comments. I'm not the most up-to-date with birds, but look, it's grabbing hemp. I'm shaking a bit. It's grabbing hemp and it's breaking it between its claws. Quite interesting, really. Early in the morning. Bit of a sad fact. Right, my battery's going flat. It's going to be the last time I update on here. But got another night to go. Rods are out. Got the orange line on. Swans are giving it the big one from Wigan. And I've just had a 32, a 33 and a 37, as well as 3 others, and that's not including the fish I caught from Manor as well. So 2 nights in, 2 lakes at Linear, caught from both lakes. Bob's your uncle, job's a good un. Time for a cherry coke whilst I watch this little bad boy split some hemp. Might get him to do some crushed hemp. It's a bit like Terry chewing his nuts. I'm going to have a little bit of the bird cracking me hemp for me. Put a little bit of bird hemp out there. Bit shaky on the camera this morning. That's because I haven't had any sugar, see, I'm shaking. Right, next time you'll see me, I'll be recording on my mobile device. Right, the battery of this is literally on its arse. I haven't updated all day, mainly because nothing's happened, but since it's got dark, it's kicked off again. I've just put back a little common and a mid-20 mirror, and it's only about 10 o'clock. Now, I'm not sure how much more I'm going to get out of this battery. I was going to film on my phone, but I don't think it's going to turn out as great as what I want it to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete this session, and then if I catch any through the night or in the morning, take some photographs, obviously on my phone, and I will add them to this video when it gets edited. Bit useless on my department, but I forgot the charging lead. Look at that, glowing away, nice and warm. Yeah, bit useless on my department, so one can only apologise. But yeah, so far it has been a very, very good session, and what I'll do is I'll do a little roundup when I'm back home and I've got this bad boy all charged up. But yeah, as it goes for February, fishing in a freezing cold northerly wind, it's good. There's the old riglet. Same rig, same week, different year. You know what? I love using the same stuff all the time because it just goes to show you don't need loads of fancy components to catch carp. Job's a good. Well, here we go. This is the wind that I said was coming in, and it is now blowing directly in my face. But as you can see, for a slightly steamed up lens, no rods left in the water. That is because from about, well, I caught the small common and the mid 20 mirror, got the rods back out, put another 10 spoms of bait out, didn't have anything else, and then about 1:30 until about 15 minutes ago, when the last one went in the landing net, I've had another 6 or 7 fish, and I've literally just had a triple take, which is why there's no rods left. And down in that net there is a 40-pound 4-ounce mirror. So I've got a 40-pound 4-ounce mirror, and I've also got a 3610 and another 30 to show you as well. So yeah, let's get them out and we'll have a little goose.
Freezing. It's well cold.
Big old carp, innit? Good?
Yeah.
Here we go. How about that bad boy? 40-pound 4 ounces. Like I say, I think I landed 8 overnight, and this morning this is the biggest. I've also got a 3610 and another 30. I'm out of breath. Once I've sorted these fish out, I'm going home. I'm not putting the rods back out. The wind's turned right in my face, and yeah, I'm getting too old for fishing in the cold. But Friday I'll go to a place that is out of this world, and I am going to vlog it, so you'll see it on the vlog as well. But yeah, there you go, 40-pound braise nose mirror. Lovely times. Right, this one, 36-pound 10. Such a good average size of fishing B1, and this is the exact reason why I fish it so often. And that 40 that I just had is one that I've not caught before, so all the more reason for me to keep coming back here, which isn't a problem, let me tell you. Right, so I'll lift this one up and stop being a wimp. It's got a kipper. Control yourself, carp. Bloody hell, he's giving it some. Come on. Bloody thing. Right, he's behaving. There we go. 36-pound 10 of your braise nose finest. Right, a few photographs, slip them straight back. Voila. 31 ounces. So in my trip so far, well, in my trip now because I'm going home, I've had 5 30s and a 40. Not bad. Hopefully he behaves, it doesn't give it the wiggin. He's going to give it a bit, isn't he? The wind is so strong now. And this is what I was saying at the start of the video, moving on to it, is trying to fish long when the wind's off your back's easy. But when the wind gets in your face, it's a nightmare. I mean, I'm fishing at 104 yards, but even I'd find it a little bit harder today with this headwind. Right, he's going to behave, so we'll have a quick look at him. Oh, for God's sake. Have a quick look, he says, and we'll get him back. So yes, I've had a 31, a 32, a 33, a 35, a 36, and a 40. Job's good. There he is. Little plump one, just like myself. He's kicking off a bit, get a couple of shots, and I'm going to put him back, pack the gear down, head to Macca's. Said that off the back of my trip to Linear, I was going somewhere a little bit special, and I've just arrived down at Millhayes Lakes. Now, I got contacted a little while back by the guys that own it, and they have built a luxury lodge on the side of one of the lakes. So, I am taking this weekend opportunity, to take my little girl and my missus away for a weekend. Say hello, Wins.
Hello.
I'm not going to show you on camera. There's a lot of weird people about, Wiggles. But yeah, so I've got my little girl with me now. My missus is coming down in a bit. We've just cracked open the gate. And what have they got, Wins, that you want to go and get in straight away at this place?
Jacuzzi.
So yeah, so we are going to get through the gate. I'm going to drive down and we're going to go and see the lake. I've never been here before. The stock of the lake is pretty impressive. I believe there is around 90 carp in the lake with 16 known 30-pounders, as well as a few 20-pounders as well. So, Bob's your uncle. Here we go. We're going fishing. We have arrived. Millhayes Lakes and Lodges. Here we go. Right, well, the van's parked up and a nice walk down the path. We've opened the door, haven't we, Wins?
Yep.
And here we go. First view of the lodge. Look at this place. Put some lights on so we can see. Wow. 5-star fishing at its absolute finest. You've got a seating area here, a lovely log burning fire, telly, all central heated. What an, wow, I'm lost for words. Phenomenal. Look at this. This is like, gives me inspiration to have something like this for myself. How nice is this? It's been done so nicely. So there's the kitchen, got a fridge, everything. Literally is like, well, I would say home from home, but my house is nothing like this, let me tell you. It's probably the most luxurious bivvy that I've ever stayed in. You've got a nice bathroom here. Let's find the light for it. Here we go. Nice big bathroom. Got a shower, a bath. All done to a mega high standard. Walk out here. We've got a dining table. And take you into this bit. This is the first bedroom. So it's a nice double bed with a lovely view out onto the lake, which is just outside here. There's the lake, and then we go back through. In through that door there is a double bedroom with 2 single beds. Then you go into this bedroom, which Winnie has taken claim on that she's having this bedroom. And this is your master bedroom. Double bed, open up the door, and we've got another ensuite in here. Wow, is all I can say. What a place this is. And we haven't even got into the fishing part of it yet. We haven't even got any rods out. So I'm hoping that I can nick a bite or two during my stay here. Crack this door open. It has been finished to such a high standard, and it is just so peaceful as well. Come out here. This is the lake, and here we have a little hot tub. I'll be wallowing around in that, looking like the male model that I am. And the rods are going to be going out just in this peg here. Now, I believe that during the course of the night, you are not allowed to leave your rods out whilst you are sleeping in the cabin, which, to be honest with you, why would you anyway? It is far too luxurious to be wanting to spend loads of time out here in the freezing cold when you can be inside in a nice, warm, comfy bed. So I'm going to be putting the gear down there. I'm going to be fishing through the days, and another night time is family time, time to relax and time to chill. But what a place this is. Unreal. This is one of them places where the guys that own it have spared no expense to make it as best as what they possibly can. And first impressions, absolutely phenomenal. Now, from what little knowledge I have of the place, this end, I believe, is the dam end, which is the deeper end of the lake, and the end to the left is the shallower end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get unpacked, get everything in position. Little 'un is like she's a little bit military when she goes away. She likes to unpack everything, so I'm going to make sure that she's settled in nicely. I'm going to get some kit out. Probably not going to fish today. Certainly not going to fish the night tonight, but I'm going to start in the morning unless I see a fish show, and then I want to put a couple of rods out. But there you go. First impression, Millhayes Lakes and Lodges. Wow. Changed into my fishing attire. Now, let me tell you, it is not often that I am blown away by somewhere, but this place is absolutely, there's a bit of a mess. This place is absolutely phenomenal. Millhayes Lodges and Lakes, unbelievable. It's so nice. Little 'un's calling me. She's in the hot tub. She's loving life already. She's unpacked all of her stuff in her bedroom. I've unpacked mine and Laura's stuff. She's coming down in a little bit into her bed, into our bedroom. And yeah, I'm just gonna have a little look outside, a little look at the lake, get the gear out of the van, and I'm gonna try and catch myself a Millhayes carp. That would be the icing on the cake. But just to get away, have a bit of family time. Obviously, you know, I've had to incorporate some fishing in with it as well. But it would be really nice to get a fish as well. Got Peter Rabbit playing in the background. Little 'un's in the hot tub loving life. Dog, that's another thing I forgot to mention. Where is he? Herbs? It's also dog friendly. One well-behaved dog is allowed on site, and Mr. Dog is very well behaved. So he's down. Yeah, amazing. I am absolutely buzzing. Got 3 nights here now. It's Friday today. Got Friday night, Saturday night and Sunday night, and I don't go home until Monday afternoon. So yeah, let's get some rods out, try and catch ourselves a Millhayes carp. He's in the lodge. I just put the fire on for her, so she's nice and warm. So a bit of smoke coming out the top. The fire's on. Got the rods there, lent up against the side of the cabin, ready to rock and roll. Now the fish in here, like I said, I've never fished here before, but first glance, all the pegs are on one side, so it's going to be a case of stealthily dropping rigs on the far bank, I would say. There's nobody else booked on whilst I'm here to fish, which is a result, but also it does make fishing a little bit tricky, because if you make a noise at one end, they bugger off to the other end. But I can spread the rods because there's no real trees that you've got to get around, so you can put rods pretty much wherever you want. Now what I'm doing is I've got my spod rod in my hand here with a little lead on the end, and I'm just going to have a little walk along this far margin, and I'm just going to have a little donk around with a lead, because I'm probably almost sure that every angler fishes across to that far side, and there's going to be harder areas. And what I'm going to do is, once I've found where those harder areas are, I'm just going to mark them with a couple of sticks, and then I'm going to go back to the van, grab a couple of long bank sticks and put them in the ground. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cast the rods over, and I'm going to be dropping the rods in, I'm assuming by hand. But also, I mean, you know, there's quite an expanse. It's hard to really show on a film, but that's probably 70, 80 yards from this side to that side. Obviously this is the last peg here. I'm 2 swims further up, but this peg here obviously controls a lot of water all the way along that dam wall. So I reckon the dam wall, most lakes I go to, the deeper sort of dammy, wider end, if you like, seems to be the better end. So yeah, I'm going to take a little stroll round. It's not too far, and I'm going to have a little lead around, and I've also got my grappling lead with me as well, because I'm going to have a few pulls of the grappling lead, because there is a few trees on the far side, and what you normally find is there's quite a bit of leaf litter gathers up on the bottom. So yeah, like I say, the fishing for this trip isn't priority, but I'm led to believe there's around 90 carp in here with 16 known 30s, and I believe there's only 1 carp below 20 pound. A phenomenal stock of fish for such a small venue. You know, the guys here really have created something mega, like, and I mean mega. And when it rips off, you know you're pretty much guaranteed to catch a fish above 20 pounds. There's an otter fence that runs the entire length of the complex. There's another couple of little lakes up the top. I'm assuming they're more sort of smaller fish in there. There's a low line electric fence running all the way around, so all the fish are protected. And here goes the dam wall here, look. So yeah, I'm gonna have a little lead around, see what I can see. And you never know, they might be balled up somewhere, and I might be able to drag across a few fishes back. So there is a patch of bubbles coming up there. I don't know if you can make that out, which is interesting. So I'm gonna have a little flick around, see what we've got on the bottom, get some rods out, chill out. When it gets dark, crank them in, cook myself some tea, cook Laura and Win some tea, and just love life. Well, the light is fading on the first evening. I did go down, and I did go around, and I did locate some nice areas. It's quite shallow close to the bank, but it does drop off pretty quickly. So what I've done is I just sort of wound the lead to the tip, if you like, and then I just lowered it down, so I'm a rod length out from the bank, and I just sort of dotted it all the way along, and I found a couple of hard spots. I've not got any rods out now, purely and simply because Laura's turning up in about 20 minutes. We're going to have some tea. By that time it'll be dark anyway, but look at that for a glorious sunset. I've got the rods down there on the pod ready to rock and roll, but look at that for a beautiful sunset. So yeah, so I found one spot in line with that little green tree there in the middle of that dam wall, a rod length off. I found another nice area. There's an outlet there, that's a really nice area. And then there's also a tree, where is it? There. There's a nice area underneath that, and there's also a nice area, where are we? Down in that bottom corner as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow when the rods go out, but that's the deep end, and then down here is the shallow end. And you can see the bottom pretty much most of the way across it. It's only about 4 feet deep. So what might potentially happen is fish might push down here with me making a bit of disturbance, and obviously fishing up that top end from tomorrow. But yeah, the good thing is there's nobody else here, so I can keep an eye on it. So yeah, oh, buzzing. I tell you, it's such a nice place. Look at this, the old little one's already been in the hot tub. Look, got a hot tub there. She's in there chilling out, and we've got a little bit of the old Formula 1 Drive to Survive on the telly. Dinner's on. I'll tell you what, as carp fishing goes, I could get used to fishing like this. I urge anybody, if you haven't heard about this place, to have a little look. Millhayes lakes and lodges. I haven't even had a bite out of it yet, and to be fair, I know we're all here to, well, I'm here to catch a fish ultimately, but simply breathtaking. You could hear a pin drop. It is absolutely beautiful. I'll show you my beautiful face, and I'll show you how happy I am. Very, very happy. It's so nice to just be doing something a little bit different, spending some time. Obviously I spend a lot of time with the family anyway, but just going away and just doing something that's really nice, that I enjoy, that Little and loves it. Laura loves being outside and doing bits and pieces. We've got the dog. You know, this is just absolute bliss. So yeah, I'll probably report back in the morning when I wake up. I'm not going to wake up mega early. I'm not even setting an alarm. I'm just going to wake up as and when. I'll take a little dip in the old hot tub. Have a little wallow around. Is that what whales do or seals do? Have a little wallow around. See, I'll have a little wallow and get the rods out. And the rods are out and we'll see what happens. But yeah, life is good. Right, do you want to crouch down? Right, so we just had some breakfast. Like I say, you're not allowed to fish overnight here when you're staying in the lodge. So yeah, woke up this morning, had a bit of breakfast. Check this out. What do you reckon to this one then?
Very, very pretty.
How bright is it?
It's way too bright. It's burning my eyes.
You're a good actor, Wiggles. Look at this.
Dun, dun,
How nice is that? It's our first bite. I don't know, 15, 17 pound, fully scaled koi. They don't come much better than this. What do you reckon, Wins?
Very, very pretty.
Let's see what the day's got in store for us. Right, well the action certainly isn't disappointing. You can see Mr. Dog in the background. You right there, Herbs? He's looking down. The action's certainly not disappointing. The girls are in there having a bit of breakfast. Rod's gone off again, and I've got another one. This time, a common, just under £24. I'd say the average size of fish in here is brilliant. He's a little bit lively, but he is a stunning, stunning fish. I'll lift him up and I'll show you him. Here he comes. There we go. A nice common, just under £24. Not a bad start. Come on, mate, let's have a look at you. Oh, he's active. He's not happy with me. No, still going. Come on, mate, one last little look. There we go. A lovely common, just under £24. Job's a good one. Got another one. What do you reckon, girls?
Very good.
Very good. Impressed
Very good.
or not?
Very impressed.
A bit bigger this one, £25 and 12 ounces. A stunning linear. Oh, look at that. How nice is that? 25.12, stunning Millhayes linear, 5-star accommodation, 5-star fishing. And to think the rods have only been out probably 4 or 5 hours. Lovely. Right, let's be getting a bit of a common thing this. Got another one. A little bit smaller, mid-double. Probably one of the smaller ones you can expect to catch here. But you can see the reason why I put this fish in here. Have a look at this. Let me turn it around. Oh, it's a little bit angry. It's hard to show the colours of this fish on the camera, but it is absolutely glorious. Come on, Mr. Carp, behave yourself. Look at that. How nice is that? Another stunning Millhayes fish. Now bite number 4, fish number 4. And yeah, it seems as soon as I put a rod over onto that far margin, washing line it in, fishing so inconspicuous I don't even think the fish really know that we're even here. Lowering it in, little handful of bait, away it goes. A lovely Millhayes fully scaled. Look at that glistening in the old afternoon sun. Lovely. So the day has passed rather unsuccessfully. Whilst we've been chilling out up in the lodge, we have seen a couple of fish show out in the central part of the lake. I haven't chose to redo the rods or re-drop the rods, or I didn't choose, purely and simply because a lake of this size, when they're small, sometimes you can get caught in a trap of bait into... There's a few little Thatcher's cans. I've had a couple of little drinks. Yeah, you can get caught in a trap of bait in too many little areas, and what that can sometimes end up doing is giving the fish too many options to feed. Now, I caught this morning where I'm fishing, I know now it is spots that the fish are going to visit. So rods are now in. They're lent up against the back of the swim, down where I have got my rods in position, or got my buzzer, should I say. And yeah, we're just about to order a big old Chinese, and I'm just outside now because I'm just about to put the hot tub on, so it warms up to a nice 37.5 degrees, ready for a little bit of a dip later on. So yeah, this is the outside of the lodge. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can have a little see. Here we go. So this is the outside of the lodge. So obviously that's our bedroom there. Got my orange spools there that I took off from when I was at Linear just on Thursday. Got a little barbecue, a log store out here. You can't really see it, but down there there's a little fire pit. And then, yeah, following along, oh, where are we? Here we go. So this is the outside. So you've got a lovely sort of veranda that's been built off the side, so it's nice and dry even if it's chucking it down outside. There's the front room. The girls are in there playing hairdressers, I believe. They're in there playing hairdressers. A little bit of catchphrase on the TV. Mr. Herbie Dog is absolutely flat out. He's loving life. There's the kitchen. This place, I'm not just saying it. And a lot of people think, oh, you're only just saying it, but I'm telling you now, I could quite happily live in something like this. It is absolutely gorgeous. We come to here, and then this is where I'll be spending a couple of hours tonight. Oh, let me lift that up for there. Look at the steam on that bad boy. Literally just folding back, like so. Let him focus on. We'll go for a little walk around. It's got Bluetooth speakers on it. It lights up. Where are we? There we go. Look at that. All you do is hit this button here. Look at that. Carp fishing in style. Seriously, this place is surpassed all expectations, and it isn't often that I get blown away by somewhere. But there's another bedroom here. It's absolutely ginormous for a cabin. By far the nicest cabin that I've ever stayed in. In fact, it would rival any house that I've ever stayed in. It is absolutely beautiful. And look at that hot tub there. It's clean. Just walking up and down this decking just with my socks on. There's the hot tub, ready for us in a bit. Gonna get a big old Chinese down, and as Big John would say, bash! Right, now I've got a couple of rods washing lined in. It was a little bit trickier than what I first thought, but I'll show you how I've done that in a bit. Now what I'm gonna do, the lake is quite small. It's sort of a lake of two halves really. You've got a deeper end, which is the dam end, and you've got a shallow end. Now, obviously with just me fishing here and putting pressure on the fish, I'm only fishing at the moment down towards the shallow end, down towards the deep end, should I say. So having already caught a couple of fish, I reckon that they might potentially move, or they could spook out of there. And there's a massive long back bank. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk along it, find a couple of likely areas. I'm just gonna put a pole in, as you can see here, my pole. Now the orange on that pole is reflective tape. Obviously I'm washing lining, so it just makes it easier to see the direction that you're casting at night. I'm going to go along now with my leading rod. I'm just going to find 2 or 3 more sort of areas where I'd be happy to put some bait, and I'm just going to put a mix of the bait that I'm putting out. So I've got a little bit of hemp and sweet corn in there. I've got 12mm manila, and I've also got bloodworm pellets. And all I've been doing is literally over the rods that I've put out already, I'll probably put half a scoop, a spom scoop of hemp and corn in, 10 or 12 broken boilies, and literally half a scoop of pellets as well, mixing it inside a little bait tub and dropping it out. I'm setting tiny little traps. It's not the sort of place where you can spom it up, put 2 on a spot, fill it in and wait for them to turn up. You're fishing for a bite at a time, keeping your eyes peeled. And like I say, I have seen fish show, and I've already had a bite. Well, I've had 2 bites, so yeah, it's been, I've had 2? Yeah, I've had a couple of fish already anyway. It's been pretty manic this first morning, getting everything sorted in and out the hot tub, trying to do breakfast for little. But yeah, we've got some fish on the scoreboard, and yeah, I'm just going to go around now, and I'm just going to bait up a couple of other little areas. I'll take you around with me, and yeah, I'll show you how I'm finding the little spots, and hopefully I can bait a couple more, and the session, or the action, can carry on throughout the session. But yeah, what a beautiful place this is. So I've just come around to the far side. Now this tree here, from sitting over in the cabin, which is there, I have seen a couple of fish show just off of this bank. and I can see the bottom. It's not crystal clear, but I can make out that there's like the bottom of the lake is like a reddy colour. You can see there, look, I'm just donking that tip along the bottom. So I know then that that's probably 10 feet out from the bank, and I've wound that down and I've lifted it, and it's probably about 4.5 feet deep, which is plenty enough depth to get a bite from. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put my pole in here, just off the side of this tree, and then what I can do, if I want to put a rod over here, chuck a rod over onto this grass, walk it along, lower the rigging, washing line it, pull it back tight, Bob's your uncle, we're fishing. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So that, I'm happy with that's the spot there. I can see the bottom, it's nice and firm. I'm going to take that out, and then what I've done, try to do this with one hand here, it's not the greatest. Right, and what I've done is I've just nicked on a little one's hairband and I've just wrapped it around that pole nice and tight, and then all I'll do when it comes to washing lining is I'll pull out one of those loops just so I can tuck the line up behind it, and I'm just going to put a twig, I'm going to make like a loop in the line, poke it through, put a little twig through the loop, and then just give it one twist just so it pulls down tight, and when you get a bite, the force of the bite will snap the twig, pull the line free, you'll get a savage drop back. But the only way that bobbin can move on a drop back is if you get a pickup. It's a brilliant way of fishing, certainly when you're fishing across to a far margin, because the fish don't expect the line to be entering the water from this angle, and I've done it before on loads of places and it definitely gets you extra bites. So I'm going to put this in here like so. I always like to put the pole low to the water, in nice and tight. There you go. So that's probably about 12-14 inches off the water. Then all I do then is I'll drape my line down off of that onto the spot, and then it'll be coming off at this angle nice and tight. You'll get a bite, the pole will judder, the line will break through the stick, and bang, got yourself a fish. I'm going to put a couple of scoops of bait over this now, and yeah, this is going to be another spot that I'm potentially going to investigate maybe later on today or tomorrow. I've still got a couple of nights left, so there's no point sort of exhausting all the areas straight away. I'll try and get as many bites from a certain area as I can, and then I'll move on and start looking to fish in another place. But yeah, for now this seems a good little spot. So after a lovely night's sleep, I have just, well, I say I've just woken up. I haven't. Had a lovely night's kip in a nice warm double bed. Got up this morning, so I got up about, I think it was 6:30. I set my alarms. By the time I eventually rolled out of bed, it was probably about 6:45. Just about getting light enough that I can see. Got the rods back over onto the spot, and within 10 minutes the first one was away. Unfortunately, I lost it. I don't really lose that many fish, and I felt proper gutted as well, because it actually felt like a decent fish. But whilst I was sorting all that out and trying to get that rod back in position, the other rod, massive drop back off the washing line, and played the fish in. And again, it felt the same as the other one. And I don't know if you feel the same, but whenever you hook a fish from a small water, even when you're playing them, they never look like what they are. I always think they look a lot smaller when you're catching them in smaller lakes. And yeah, there's a handful of commons in here that Jez was telling me about that are quite rare. They don't very often come out, and they're between sort of 26 and 28, 29 pounds. That's what he predicts them to be, and I've just landed one at a shade over 30 pounds. So yeah, at a 30 pounder, absolutely buzzing. The two girls are still asleep. It is only about 7:45, so I'm going to go and wake them up, because the fish has just sat down in a retainer. You're allowed to hold them just for 10 minutes. I'm going to go and rudely awaken them, grab them out, and yeah, they're going to come out and they're going to see the fish, and they're going to photograph and film it for me. Oh yes, buzzing. So that's now 5 fish landed and lost one. What more can you want? And a 30 pounder, and I'm pretty sure the one that I lost was probably another decent fish as well, but we won't dwell on it. But what it does seem is that mornings are very, very prolific, so I've got both of those rods back out there now. I have still got the morning period tomorrow, can potentially stay tomorrow night until Tuesday morning if I want to, but yeah, what's frustrating is you'd think it would happen in the day, but it just doesn't for some reason. Where I'm fishing down in the bottom corner, they were showing in there yesterday, and it's only about 8 foot, so it's not like you're miles away from them. And I don't really want to keep going around there and chopping and changing. I did contemplate, you know, lowering a zig in off the washing line, but just fishing it a little bit further out, so pulling a little bit more line off the clutch and fishing it a little bit further out, because maybe they are up off the bottom, but there is only, says about 80 to 85 fish I think it's in here. Jez was saying yesterday. So it's like, I know I'm near them because I've had 6 bites in one area, so there must be a fair amount of fish in one area. But it just feels like you should be getting more. But then that's maybe just me. And small waters, they, you know, once you've hooked one, you can upset the apple cart a little bit and you can put them off. So really, 6 fish I fished yesterday day, and then I fished an hour this morning, and I've had 6 fish, so, or 6 bites. So really, you know, I'm probably just being a little bit too ambitious, to be honest with you. There was a frost last night. It's going to go even colder tonight. But you know what? We've had a 30, 2 20s, and 2 really nice upper doubles, and the fully scoured that I had, I'm led to believe, got stocked in here. It was one of the ones that they bred on from one of their other ponds that was a very, very special looking fish, and they sort of just put it in here as a bit of a, we'll see what happens with it. And that's the first time it's ever been caught, and it went in as a C3, so that's probably, I think he's been in here 2, maybe 3 years now, and that's the first time that's ever been caught, and that's up to just under 17 pounds, so that's put on 10 pounds. So the rate these fish are growing, let me tell you, what's already in is impressive, but in a few years' time, for such a small little lake, it is going to have a mighty impressive stock of fish. But yeah, I'm going to stop rambling on. I'm going to go and get the girls, and we're going to have a look at this. £30, 2 ounce, absolute pristine common. Lovely times. Girls are awake. Got the fish out. £30 common, buzzing with this, to be honest with you. It's absolutely perfect as well. Zip under. Right. Nice bright day today. A bit of a different day today, but we don't mind. Right, I'm going to come a little bit closer. Come a little bit closer to your screens. Right, but the sun is beating in my eyes. I can't really see what I'm doing. A bit of water on him. A little bit of water on him. Right, you actually see this. Now, it isn't very often that I catch £30 commons anymore, because a lot of the places I fish are predominantly overrun with mirrors. So, to get this, I am proper happy. I'm not sure that's showing up. Look at that. That is what we came for. £30, 2 ounce Millhayes common. Yes! Like I say, another night to go. Well, I say another night, yeah, I've got another morning period to go, and the rest of today. But look at that glistening away in the sun. Absolutely immaculate. Come on. Yes. As you can tell by my attire, I've just got out of the hot tub and I've rushed to the rods because I've had a bite and I'm in my briefs. I've got my briefs on, I've got my socks pulled up high. We are into another Millhayes carp. The bite time that I haven't had a bite at yet, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. This is the one fished in the furthest corner. Wins and Laura are behind the camera, keeping the dog at bay. I'm going to try and land another fish from Millhayes. I'm going to focus on getting it in. I'll try not to shake the hook out while I'm shivering because it's freezing cold. Close now. Come on, lift it up. Bit of colour down there. Like a mirror. Oh, it's so hard in here. Silkweed in here, which is a bit of a, well, it's not a nightmare really, it just masks the lead, which is a bit of a problem, but Yes! That is a proper nice fish. Landed in my briefs. This one out then. This is another 30 pounds and 8 ounces of absolutely glorious Millhayes scaly mirror. You don't see him like this everywhere you go, that's for sure. Look at that. I'm hoping that shows up all right on the screen. Look at that. What a carp. 30 pounds, 8 ounces. Brace of 30s this morning. What more do you want? I'm not going to keep going on. Seriously, check this place out. Unreal. Right, a few photographs, slip it back. Well, it's the final evening tonight. Look at that for a glorious sunset. And right on cue, as I'm about to get the rods in, bosh, got ourselves another carp. So that is now fish number 7. What a result. It's absolutely freezing already. It's going to drop down to -2 tonight. So I'm going to be quite grateful for going in and having a nice cosy bed in a nice central heated cabin. But yeah, look at that for a lovely evening down here at Millhayes. Right, let's get it out, have a little look, because it is another stunning carp. He's a little bit lively. Certainly by no means is he the biggest in the lake. In fact, you're probably not going to catch any smaller than this. But look at that for a stunning carp. Glistening away in the evening sun. Oh, whilst he's giving it the big one, I'm going to turn it round so you can see the other side. I'll say this is the last bite of the day. I've still got probably 4 or 5 hours tomorrow. I'll put the rods back out again at about 7, I reckon. And I've just got that morning period. So hopefully try and get maybe another bite or 2. Look at that. As good a looking fully scaled as you're ever going to see. Lovely. That's it, rods are in. And I'm just about to jump in the hot tub. Look at this at night. How glorious is this? The tune's on, hot tub bubbling away, up to temperature. What a way to spend an evening. Look at that bad boy. Little can on the side, waiting, chilled. Look at that. Life is good. Millhayes, luxury carping at its finest. Beautiful Devon countryside. Well, they say it's not over until it's over. Woke up again, first thing this morning, got about an hour left and I've just had another bite. Check this one out. 27 and a little bit of absolutely stunning Millhayes linear. Look at that. This is definitely going to be the last fish. Well, unless my other one remaining rod goes, but it's looking like it's going to be the last fish. So that's now 8 landed. Unfortunately 1 lost. What an amazing trip it has been. 5-star accommodation and 5-star fishing. Look at that. There's not many places you can come to, stay in a luxury lodge and have the opportunity of catching fish like this. Time for a cherry coke and hit the road. Alright, here he goes, back to his clear water. The stock in here is incredible. It's such a small lake. Fish are lovely as well. Look at that.